Alrighty, section 4, week 4 in Python. And this week for Al's, and I went back and revised this after I had originally laid out the schedule, and I ended up keeping just this section 4, this one video, for the schedule, knowing I was going to find some additional code or additional video for you to consume, right? So first, let's talk about just what I want you to do here. You only have one video, so obviously to start with, you just create one file. But I want to tell you that in the video, Al talks about that, maybe an extra credit. Well, for you guys, it's not extra credit. It's just part of the assignment that you need to do. Is after he talks about how to handle with try except blocks. And by the way, the reason this is so important is that you will use this in pretty much everything you do from here on out. But he says, because he does the number of cats, and he's like, well, what happens if the user enters a negative number? How would you handle that? So after you finish coding along, in that same file, go ahead and write the code that will handle that case that arises if this user enters a negative number. And there's multiple ways you could do this, but again, we're really just saying, okay, accomplish this by writing some code. Now, if you need help, reach out, right? And some of you have been great about this. If you want some help talking about it, looking at it, but again, this is where you're building that muscle of learning how to write code when somebody just gives you a short description here, right? Just handle that additional user input and it really prompted me to really find something else because I was like, okay, this feels like a good introduction, but I'd want a little more. And after searching around, I came up with what kind of surprised me because I guess I'm a person who sometimes feels like the more recent something is, the better it is. And I think many times that's true. But I think there's also the idea of classic text, meaning there's content that it will stand the test of time because it just is good. And so this video from Corey here, Schaefer, is really good. I've looked at a couple, and this one was the best one I found, and I liked it because it really takes the concept that Al introduced, and it takes it, and it really introduces a little more depth by doing the else and the finally, and also showing you how to rise errors of your own, right? So in some ways, you could actually use this to do the extra credit, or you could attempt the extra credit without it. Either way, and again, it's not extra credit, it's just the part of handling that. So I want you to also code this. And I just want to say a word here. So you'll code all the way through. It's only one file. I have you, and I'll go back here, name it exception handling.py. And then on this error message, on this commit message, write more on error handling. So on this one, I do want to say just a word real quick about in the browser, or in the IDE, in VS Code, right? Hopefully you're getting used to this interface. Like we've been creating Python files, of course. Creating text files is just as easy. And you can put anything in those text files you want, any content, because and that's the other thing this introduces, right? It introduces also a little bit new concepts of reading a file, right? So you're opening it, right? And then you're reading it, and then you close it. So we're going to learn more about this later, but I like that we're also getting an introduction to this as well. So code along. You end up, and actually need to go do that, is you create two text files here. So when I look at your code, because these files will also get pushed to GitHub, right? You'll want to make sure you have both of those. And again, put whatever content, because it's just a text file, so you can just put a message in there. And I think like on mine, I just said hello from the corrupt file. So, and it really is not about the file, it's about reading files, a very common task in any language. Okay. And actually, later we'll, I'm sure, get introduced to better ways to even do this, because especially if you're reading a large file, you have to kind of wait and you don't want, anyway, we won't go down that road yet. Okay, so last thing I want to say is just a reminder, right, about, right, so now that I've done all my code, I've done all my git add, right, I've done git commits with with the messages I want, and then I do git push. Oh, I've already done it. So when I go to GitHub, right, remember I want you to give me on all code up your commits. So you go to here and go to your directory, right? And then look at, oh, looks like I didn't get the rest. Oh, I must not have version controlled those yet. So the point is that more here, this is what, once you're ready, you will give me, again, you see this a little different. It'll be submit file. Okay. All right. I hope this helps clear up any questions you might have. I hope this gives you some good additional experience of doing this work. My thinking now is that for the Learn Together, we'll take some of the code we've already written and refactor it into try catch blocks. I say try catch because that's what JavaScript so sorry for my JavaScript cross platforming here. But try except block for Python. All right, have a good day.